What a wonderful day for a review. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, directed by Wes Bell, starring Owen Teague and Freya Allen, produced by 20th Century Fox, and probably one of the best movies you're going to see all year. Let's get into it. This is going to be more of a spoiler-heavy talk, so if you don't want to be spoiled on anything, please click off the video. I also have a non-spoiler review that is available for you guys as well, if you guys want to check that out. But if you guys want to get into some spoiler talk, let's get going. The movie opens on a beautiful scene with Caesar being laid to rest, with the entire tribe coming together to lay flowers on his grave before they put it ablaze and allow him to pass on to the afterlife. And visually, it's such a striking scene because it allows you to just say goodbye to this character that we've known for a solid 3 movies, and then allow us a chance to time skip into an era where we can meet these new characters that are living in the world that's not beginning but has been thriving for centuries. And that is when we meet the main character of our story. His name is Noah. And Noah is played by Owen Teague, and Owen Teague does a tremendous job of really making Noah stand out as a prominent character and as a likable character. When you first see him, he's along with his 2 friends of the tribe, and they're just getting by. They make this jump and they make it, and the second one barely makes it, and then you see Noah just make that big leap. Noah's like, hey guys, I'm the main character, and they're out on an excursion in order to find eagle eggs in order to bring them back to their tribe, because this is a ceremony that takes place in their tribe for younger apes. You end up going to get an eagle egg. You find the eagle egg, you take it home, and then you raise that eagle to be a member of your tribe. Because this group of apes is all called the Eagle Tribe, which is a really cool concept, because that's something that you'd want to see apes do. They're really connected to the environment. They don't get too much into detail about what the ceremony is or how the process goes, but they do give you the context that the one thing that we do know, you need that eagle egg for the ceremony. And if you do not have the eagle egg, you have to wait till the next year in order to get another eagle egg for the ceremony. Noah being in a bit of a tight bind due to the fact that the female lead, May, she ends up coming in to the village and tries to scavenge for food because she's hungry. But when Noah goes to confront her to try and see what's going on, she ends up checking him and breaks the egg. So this leads Noah to go out on an adventure to try and find another egg late at night. While Noah is out and about, he ends up coming across a strange scene where there's a lot of noise and there's a fire and there seems to be a huge commotion. When he goes to inspect, he finds dead apes and he happens to stumble across a major issue, where that's where we're introduced to the guards of the main king, Proximus Caesar, who honestly doesn't show up till about halfway through the movie, but they do a phenomenal job of peppering his name through the entire story and giving you an idea of who he is, because you have all these massive gorillas and all these people in masks following him. And all of a sudden, he is the new Caesar. They end up finding Noah's horse and spook it back to the village because that's where they think the person they're looking for is going. This ends up creating a major problem when they end up torturing the entire village, killing Noah's father, and taking the rest of the village prisoner to now serve under Proximus Caesar. I do have to say though, that scene where they're in the village is getting torched, all the gorillas and other apes are riding around on horseback, boloing all these other apes, tying them up, getting them in nets. It's a really hectic scene, and it really keeps you on the edge of your seat because it's so exciting. Every time Noah's about to talk to a character that he cares about, you get ripped away. You get ripped right back into the scary action, and you have to deal with it. And it's such a crazy scene, and it's really entertaining. It's honestly one of my top 3 favorite scenes of the entire movie because it's just so visually striking. When Noah starts his journey to go find his clan, he ends up wandering across what he sees to be smoke. And while he's inspecting, he falls through this platform and gets tangled in some vines over a massive fire. This is a really cool scene because this is where we get to meet one of my favorite characters, Raka. Raka is a character that just lost his closest friend. He's doing the exact same fire burning ceremony that happened to Caesar at the beginning of the movie, and you just see the skeletal remains of his friend. There's a bit of an obvious standoff moment due to a misunderstanding, but it's quickly resolved, where a lot of other movies would drag it out a little bit too long. They immediately cut that tension and make it so that both the characters are on an equal footing for where they are in their emotional state. Noah just lost his entire clan. Raka just lost the most important person in his entire life. So they take this as an opportunity to team up and go fight the evil that has ruined their lives. More or less a revenge note for Noah, and more as this seems to be where the universe is taking me from Raka. And that's honestly one of the coolest things about Raka. Raka is very much just like, hey, this is the way it's going. And then all of a sudden he's presented with new information. He's just like, okay, time to switch it up. Let's go. I'm with you. When Noah and Raka team up and they start their adventure together, that's when we get to meet the human protagonist played in this movie, played by Freya Allen. And Freya Allen plays a character named May. And May she's a very in-depth character to me, because she's playing at the start this feral animal that is striving to survive. But as you go through the movie, you get to see that she's more than just what she seems, because she can not only speak, she has a lot of knowledge about the past world from Caesar's time before Apes actually took over. Because turns out there's actually a lot of humans still alive in bunkers that have this information and still are aware of the past. How much information they have about what's going on in the simian world, that I do not know. That I feel will be explored in further movies. And when we get into that, I'm really looking forward to what they actually do. On their journey, we get to actually see it's not really like a big deal, but it's one of my favorite things. It's not its full scene, it's just one of my favorite things about the movie. The fact that there's herds of humans, right? They come across a zebra, and you would react as you would normally if you had never seen a zebra. You'd think, wow, that's a striped horse. And then you see a lot of striped horses. But then you get to see like humans actually come out of the woodwork, and the way they come out of the woodwork is hilarious. They look like meerkats that just popped out of a hole, and it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Because it's a genuinely amazing movie, and it's very serious throughout a lot of it. But seeing humans that are so primitive that they can't actually function normally without functioning like a random gazelle, but they're smart enough to understand that they need to wear loincloth bras and underwear. I don't know, man. I understand I'm not going to see an R-rated movie, and I'm not expecting to see a bunch of unnecessary nudity, but at the same time, it's just, where's the line of their intelligence here, you know? Where's it end? That I just found that to be really funny, and I thought you guys would really want to know about that, and I thought it'd be really cool to share. There's also a scene that we see in the trailer, but even though it's in the trailer, it still plays out really well in the movie. And that's the scene where May is in the grass trying to hide from all the apes. Now, looking at that from a human perspective, you're a lone human in the middle of a field, and you've got gorillas, and you've got chimps, and you've got all these apes just wandering around. A regular chimp could just rip your arm off right now at a zoo. You're telling me that you got a field full of those guys, and you're the only one in the middle, and you're not scared? That is the most terrifying situation I can imagine myself in. But at the same time, it's a really cool scene because it allows a real bonding moment for May and Noah. because this is a time when Noah was going to just leave them because he thought she would be better off with that herd of humans, with her own kind. Then we end up at a bridge scene that is honestly a really hard-hitting scene for me because, like I said earlier, I'm a big fan of Rocka. I think he's a really cool character and he has a lot that he could offer to the story, even with the fact that he is the main reason why Noah and May are able to even communicate properly, because he's that glue that was able to bring them together. And having him being ripped out of the story and forcing those two to now work together without having that glue is a really neat concept, and I'm really sad that it worked so well because I want Rocka to come back. We'll get into that in the theory talk, but that seemed very ambiguous, and I don't think Rocka's done, if you ask me, you know what I'm saying? After Rocka's death, though, they are captured and they are brought back to Proximus Caesar, which, in my opinion, kind of saves them a lot of travel time because they would have had to like search and go through all that type of stuff, and getting brought there kind of makes it a lot easier on them. So, hey, thumbs up if that. Thumbs down for loss of Rocka, that sucks. Once we get to Proximus Caesar's kingdom, though, that's when I feel the movie really, really picks up. Because we get to feel that real emotional connection for Noah, because he gets reunited with his entire clan, minus his father, which is sad, but his mother is still alive, and even though she is very, very, very down in the dumps, he's still going to make sure that he can look after his clan and his mother. And that is something that a main character really, really strives for. We also get to meet a really interesting human character through the eyes of May, and that is a character played by William H. Macy. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, like it's Thaddeus or Thaddeus or The Ridiculous. The Ridiculous is what I'm going to call him. The Ridiculous name. But he's just a guy that, like, he was a survivor. Until he found out that in order to survive, you just got to go along sometimes. This is a really interesting character to me because he's a lost character in a lot of ways, because when we find out about his backstory, he was on the run and he shattered both of his ankles in a fall when Proximus Caesar and his men found him. And when you're given the option is you will now serve me because you can't go anywhere, he just goes along. And honestly, a lot of people will judge this character and say that, no, why would you do that? You're just helping them. In reality, myself, I can't say I wouldn't have done the same thing, because who wouldn't? A lot of people just want to survive. And that's what makes this character great. He's not a good character, but he's not a bad character either. He's not a bad guy. He's just a survivor, and that's all he wants. In the end, for the character, though, I was actually really happy that they didn't just have him join the good guys. When May gives him that speech of, it's not too late, you can join us. He doesn't just immediately jump to, well, you know what, you're right. I've been mentally beaten and physically beaten and forced into this life, but you know what? I will join you, person I do not know. Thank you for helping. No, like it's a very realistic reaction that a lot of people would have. And you would get tired of constantly having to deal with just people telling you, it's just like, you can fight back. In reality, you're not fighting back against a village of apes. I'm sorry, you're not. You were just not. So we find out through Proximus that he does actually have a goal, and it's not just to be cartoonishly evil. He needs to get inside of a bunker, which he feels will create instant evolution for the apes and all of his people. So he wants to get inside and get all the weapons, he wants to get all the knowledge, he needs to get all of everything inside of it in order to benefit his people and prevent humans from actually being able to take it back. Which, honestly, they do a fantastic job of, even though he is a villain and even though he is a bad guy, you can still kind of understand where he's coming from, because he just wants his people to survive. I mean, as long as he's on top, that's all that really matters. But he wants the best for what is best for apes. And that's honestly what a lot of great leaders do. Only downside is he's also a psychopath. The final stretch of the movie has Noah teaming up with May and the two friends from earlier and from his village that are going to try and set everybody free by going into the bunker and destroying everything inside of it. They want to get inside the bunker. May, so she can get a computer chip that allows access to satellites for humans to actually communicate with each other. But Noah wants to get in there in order to completely destroy everything that's in there in order to prevent Proximus from actually getting the upper hand on everybody. Because he understands that if Proximus gets that, he's going to be an unstoppable monster. And he's already a beast. So taking that away is an absolute necessity for them. When they get inside, they end up finding some really cool little Easter eggs. It's them just going over past things from human history and kind of seeing how humans lived in the time when they're trying to adapt to the simian flu and create a new world while all just trying to survive. But they go through that entire process, get the front blast doors open, just to find out that Proximus is waiting for them. And when Proximus is waiting for them, that's when May ends up having her little panic attack and immediately blows the dam, which will flood all the water into the cavern and destroy all the military equipment that is inside the bunker. It's a fantastic plan. It's a really cool plan because when they're setting it up, you're not really sure how they're going to pull the plan off, but when they execute it, it actually makes a lot of sense and goes really well. So I very much enjoyed it. That ends up creating a lot of panic, and a lot of the Eagle tribe end up going to the top of the building in order to survive the water, which ends up creating the final fight. And honestly, this might be one of the best scenes in the entire movie because it's just sheer chaos. Everybody's just scrambling. You hear screeching, you hear screaming. Everybody's just trying to survive. You see bodies just splashing in the water. It's like a scene out of the Titanic with how many bodies are just kind of in the water, but it's with monkeys. It's great. And that's when we end up getting the final fight for Noah and the big gorilla bodyguard general for Proximus. I didn't bring him much up earlier, but he is the character that Noah has been dealing with this entire movie. He's the one that created the problem with the horse going back to the village and burning down the village. He's the one that killed Raka. He's the guy that took them back to Proximus. He's the guy that introduced Noah to the weaponry that ended up killing everybody. He is, in Noah's eyes, the big bad villain. And when he gets in that final fight, it's a really cool scene, man. It is really fun to watch because I'm on the edge of my seat for the entire thing because you never know when it's going to happen. You never know, will he grab him here? Will he get pulled under? You have the sense that Noah will survive because he's the main character and that's how these things go. But at the same time, you're sitting there, it's like, how is he going to get out of this? This is a really enclosed place where you have to be really quick to get out of. And once I realized that, I realized what was going to happen. And when it happened, it was cool. So Noah's fighting the big guy. And when the water starts rushing in, you see Noah start to think. And you wonder, what are you thinking about? And as he comes in, the big guy starts looking like he's going to get the upper hand. Noah just jumps through the roof and just lets the water cut off the gorilla. He just watches him drown. And that had to be sort of cathartic for him. Because of him, he had to watch his friend drown in the river. So him getting the chance to get that revenge, but not in an evil way, more of a this is for you type of way, it's a really, really fun concept and really cathartic to see at the end of the movie. Which brings us to the final fight for Proximus and Noah. I mean, it is a really cool scene. Don't get me wrong. It's a great scene. But it just kind of comes as a odd scene because Proximus, his entire thing has been being the ruler of these apes, right? He wants to be the king. He's the Caesar now. But through the entire movie, Noah's been mentioning the eagles, and like the eagles are the clan. We whistle so the eagles know who we are. So at the end, when all the eagles are being used to attack Proximus, it's at first it seems really weird and it seems out of place, but when you think back to the movie and how everything was going with the eagles, it does make sense. It is still a little bit silly to see an ape get absolutely destroyed by a flock of eagles and thrown off a cliff, but at the same time, this is a Planet of the Apes series, and I'm here for some silly bollocks in between everything. You get the emotional high of the drama, you get the relationship problems between father, son, mother, son, friends, all of that stuff. And to mix in a little bit of silliness at the end for, like, honestly, I'm not going to hold it against it. It was a bit goofy, but I won't hold it against it. It's a great scene. That brings us to the end of the movie, where we get Noah and May's stories kind of splitting off now from where they were. So you get Noah going back to his village, help bring everything back together, raise the eagles, and from what I can tell, take over as their new chieftain. And then you have May going off and she's trying to rebuild the entire human race. She managed to take that chip that she got from the bunker and she brings it back to a different bunker where the humans are hiding out, and they have a bunch of satellites that now they can finally access those and start communications with other people across the world. And that's really cool, because honestly, the way the movie ended, it really sets itself up for being able to explore more of this world. We can actually explore what the humans are going to do when they actually try and come back. We can actually see what's going to happen with Noah and his tribe. We may even get to be introduced to a different set of apes that we don't even know yet, but will end up creating another fun story. Either way, it's genuinely exciting to think about. All right, guys, let's get into some theories now. So, my big theory for this entire movie series is that we're going to actually end up getting May and Noah working together again after May realizes that she made a mistake. Humans are going to end up taking all the information that they get, and they're going to try and create another world war. And that is when May is going to realize we need to work together with the apes in order to prevent this. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to end up having to have a major issue where they're going to be on the line and they're going to need Noah and May there, and they're not going to know what to do. And that's when Raka is going to come back. Raka is honestly one of the coolest characters to this entire movie, and I am really sad that he got taken out so early. And with the fact that his death was left very ambiguous, he was just sent down a very rapid river. Yes, that can lead to death, but there have also been stories of people coming back from such incidents. And if they can come back, a superhuman ape can probably do the same. Because like he said, imagine falling, you only got 2 arms. With feet, you got 4. He's got 4, he can grab onto stuff. Like, I'm sure he can find a branch hanging out over that river somewhere. So I'm really hoping that he gets to come back, and I'm really hoping that we get to see a really cool story develop between all these characters over time. Last Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, guys. It was a phenomenal movie, great time. Please, if you guys like this video, drop a thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of the movie. What was your guys' favorite part? What was your least favorite part? Who's your favorite character? What do you guys want to see from the franchise going forward? Let me know your coolest theory. Let me know your weirdest theory. Let me know what you guys think needs to be taken out, what you guys think should have been put in. But please, if you guys want to see more videos like this, please leave a subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you guys more in the future. Love you guys.